Yeah, get over it. So somehow I was able to go to PAX West and I maxed my phone storage taking footage and photos, so now I guess I have to make a video about it. I played a bunch of games, mostly at the Nindies arcade booth, so I'll split it up into sections. If you want to skip to a certain game, use the timestamp or click the little links in the description. And keep in mind, these are early versions of the game, so I won't bother talking about resolution or frame rate. That said, any complaints I have with the game will all be based on what I played. I understand that the final game might be polished more, but this is the version the devs are showing off, so that's what I will be judging. It was pretty fun. It's a 2D shoot 'em up in an open world. You shoot enemies to upgrade your weapons, then fight bosses to get more upgrades. There wasn't really any endgame in the demo, but it seems like a Binding of Isaac style roguelike, and the visuals are gorgeous. I really love the style. I give it a thumbs up. Pretty cool. It's the gameplay of the first game, but this time the levels aren't randomly generated, which in my opinion is a plus. I'm excited to see some crazy level design with neat puzzles. There's also going to be more than one boss, so that's neat. Looks promising. Thumbs up. I'll talk about this in a bit. Bleh. For some context, I'm a massive fan of the original Super Meat Boy. For a long time it was my favorite indie game, until, well, so obviously I was super excited for a proper sequel, which, yes, they are calling this a true sequel. It's an auto runner. You know, like a mobile game. They're trying to make it very clear that it's not, in fact, a mobile game. They say it's a console game that's also coming to mobile at the same time. Yeah. I still wanted to give it a fair shot, so I give it the benefit of doubt, and it's not as bad as I thought, but it can be pretty insulting that this is, in their words, the long-awaited sequel to the indie darling. The controls are very simple, making it pretty obvious that it was designed with mobile in mind, and it doesn't feel like the original game very much. The controls aren't as tight, and there are many times where I died and I didn't feel like I should have. That's one of my favorite parts about the original game. Whenever I would die, it always felt like my fault. I know that I'm the one that screwed up. You don't really get that feeling in Forever. This game is called Forever because it's randomly generated. Oh, of course it is! There are levels, but they're built with a bunch of pre-built sections and then puzzle pieced together to make a Frankenstein of a level. Yes, that's what you do with a game that's known for its tight, fantastic platforming levels. Let a computer build it. I can so clearly remember many of the iconic Super Meat Boy levels. In Meat Boy Forever, I watched someone do the same level I played 5 minutes ago and it looked completely different. This is neat, I guess, but the levels no longer have that tight design. They're just generic auto runner levels. It's disappointing to see the true sequel to Super Meat Boy to be so bland and uninspired. It might have worked to have come out 7 years ago, but it just doesn't today, so it gets a thumbs down. One of the reasons Super Meat Boy Forever doesn't work is because Bit Trip Runner has already done it twice and much better. Nicely designed levels, great music, multiple paths, loads of fun collectibles. It's a really solid series. Runner 3 feels just as good. It's hard to tell based on the 1 or 2 levels I got to play, but my only concern for Runner is that it's just more of the second game, but they've added a new vehicle section, so that might be enough to shake it up. I give it a thumbs up. Pretty good. Didn't get a lot of time with it, but it looks like if you enjoy Gunvolt and Blaster Master, you'll probably really enjoy it. Great pixel art. Thumbs up. It's interesting. Could be a very fun couch co-op game. I give it it's an alright. Not that great. I found it really boring. Okay visuals, boring combat. It just wasn't that interesting. Thumbs down. A lot like Contra, but easier. It's a fun 2-player 80s styled shooter. It gets a neat. It was funny and fun, but it needs much more polish. It felt floaty, and it's one of those games where things just happen. In its current state, I feel like it would be boring and frustrating after a while. I give it a cute characters though. Not for me. An awkward mash of random genres that don't really blend that well. I didn't enjoy it much. Thumbs down.
4, 3, 2, 1.
It's very casual and relaxed, but I enjoyed it a lot. I feel like it'd be a great game to just chill and play, let your mind wander, that sort of thing. I give it a thumbs up. Been looking forward to this game for a while, and playing only a short 10 minutes only justifies my excitement. The pixel art is fantastic, the gameplay is so fun, it has a lot of variety, and I can't wait to play more of the maps, including custom ones with custom objectives. Online, local, single player, no matter what, it'll be so much fun. I can't wait to dump tons of hours into it. And if they can get the asynchronous online multiplayer working, it honestly will be probably perfect. I give it a double thumbs up, and the official Hopper's Best at PAX Award. Woo! Yeah, good job. Good job, Wulver. You did it. Yeah, go Wulver. Really great. You deserve it. You deserve it. Interesting. I love the art design and graphics. It seems promising, but it needs a lot of work. The controls for one are pretty bad. There's no true analog and some of the platforming is janky. However, this could be a fun adventure puzzle game if they can work out all the kinks. I'm giving it a thumbs up, but that's only if they can fix all the issues with it. Honestly, I had more fun listening to the developers talk about their game than I did playing it. I'm not super into beat-em-ups, but this one seems to be solid. Not a huge fan of how the characters look, but I love the backgrounds and cutscenes. I give it a, seems pretty good, but I probably won't pick it up. How do you tell the developer of the game that you want to stop playing when they're right next to you? Not because I didn't like it, the opposite actually. I loved it just from the trailers, and I legitimately wanted to stop playing so I could just jump in blind when it comes out. Love the art style, the gameplay, I love the way the map works and how you have to follow directions. Luckily the demo wasn't very long, so it didn't spoil much, but unfortunately the demo was long enough to where now I just want to buy it even more. Seriously, I can't wait to jump into this game. Double thumbs up. I like Shovel Knight, like, a lot. I've already talked about that, so I'm gonna get right to it. King of Cards was somehow able to dash my super high expectations. I had so much fun playing it. I went back and played it like 4 or 5 times, and I never got bored, even though I was playing the same levels over again. Like the expansions before it, it's unique and different from the other 3 games, but it's still just as polished and beautiful. The new card game is simple and easy to understand, but it's a lot of fun. Unsurprisingly, Yacht Club hits it out of the park for the 4th time. Oh, and the amiibo! The 3 new amiibos look so good in person. I swear I was ready to break the glass and steal all 3. The only reason I didn't was because I didn't want to get kicked out before I got to play Mario Odyssey. Amiibos are so bad for me. Why do they keep doing this? I just feel bad for the poor devs who I couldn't stop gushing to. Of course, it's getting a double thumbs up. I would have given it the best at PAX, but I felt like it was cheating since it's an add-on for an already existing game. Oh yeah, for those who don't know, this is a free expansion for the original game. Yeah. Before I start this, some information is needed. Nintendo offered fast passes to My Nintendo members. They basically give you a time slot and you could just leave and come back at that time and skip the hassle of waiting in a long line. If you don't get the fast pass, you just have to wait in line like everyone else. Alright, so I attended all 4 days. On the second day, we tried to get into the Nintendo booth, but the line was already capped out and they were out of fast passes for the day. PAX opens up its doors at 10 o'clock, so on the 3rd day we got there at 10:10, thinking that would be early enough. In that 10 minutes, they had already filled up for the entire day. Okay, so one more day. We got at the convention center at 9. Since PAX wasn't open yet, the enforcers, who are like the scary bodyguards running the whole show, they made everyone who showed up early line up outside in the back. And this makes sense in theory. It keeps the actual convention center clean and allows everyone else to move freely without clogging up the halls. So to put this in perspective, we're talking about a couple hundred people in line. They looped us all outside and made us wait under this bridge, which was hot and muggy and dark. Now remember, PAX opens up at 10 o'clock, and it was about 9:10 when we lined up. But they promised us that because we got there first, and despite having to wait in line, we would be the first to be let in, and we would get access to the show floors before everyone else. So 10 o'clock comes around, and the line doesn't move. Then 10:05, then 10:10. It wasn't until 10:15 where the line finally started to move into the convention center. To make everything worse, from where we lined up, we could see through the windows where everyone who didn't get in line were walking in freely, while all of us who got in an hour early had to sit and wait for the enforcers to allow us in. Of course, at this point, the Nintendo booth was filled. Getting in line was pointless. It was just a way for them to get everyone out of the way so they didn't have to deal with them. Man, what do we do with all these people? Oh, I don't know, just throw them under the bridge until everything officially opens up. No, by the way, we didn't get to be first for anything despite what they said. They just swept us under the rug and then regurgitated us back into the building. I'm not going to apologize for my choice of words. And don't think this is just PAX's fault. Nintendo could have done a lot to help this situation too. First of all, their booth was tiny. Behemoth is an indie studio, and their booth was twice the size of Nintendo's. They had 4 games they were showing off, one which is Mario Odyssey, and another is a new Metroid. They had tons of game stations crammed into their small space, but even so, whenever I looked into the booth, there were multiple stations unused and empty. Next is the Fast Passes, which seems like a great idea, right? Now, you do have to line up to get a Fast Pass, of course, because everyone wants to get one, and it'd be chaos without a line. But it doesn't matter. When we had gotten early, all the Fast Passes had already been claimed. The best part? Everyone who is in line to get one had special passes that allowed them to get into the convention center early. All of the Fast Passes were claimed by special guests who were allowed to get in before PAX opened for one reason or another. That means that regular visitors like me had no chance of getting a Fast Pass. Oh, and listen to this. This is the cherry on the cake. The Samus Returns demo was 45 minutes long, and Mario Odyssey was 30 minutes long. What? Of course the line was moving so slow. It would have been so much better if each demo was like 20 minutes or, I don't know, 10. A much better example of how to do this was over at Sony's booth. They had plenty of space, enough that even when it was busy, you had plenty of elbow room. The way their Fast Pass works is you check in on their app, and in the app you get allotted a time slot. All you have to do at that point, you have to show up at the time, show them your pass, and you can get in. Because of this, they can allow anyone to just come up and play if there's a free spot. I was just watching Uncharted without a Fast Pass, and the guy said I could play because they had no one waiting. Speaking of, I want to talk about the new Uncharted real quick. It's fantastic. I'm a big fan of this series, and the original trilogy has a special place in my heart. That said, if the 20-minute demo is an accurate representation of the full game, it will easily be the best game in the series. I haven't played the 4th game yet, but this game is a huge jump for the series. Every mechanic has been polished to shine. The cliffs you have to climb look so natural in the environment, but they're still visible enough to where you can see them. The shooting feels great, although it sometimes looks hilarious. And the swinging is so fun. I don't care how ineffective it is in combat. It's just so fun to do.
Dude, this is awesome! Oh, yeah!
Alright, back to this stuff. So obviously, I didn't get into the Nintendo booth, which I can deal with. Both games I'm interested in playing are coming soon. However, they had these awesome pins that they were only giving out when you played the games. So if you're fine with not playing the games, but would like to get the pins, these pins, then you're screwed. But wait, I didn't play the game, so how did I get the pins? Well, I went up to the booth's exit and wrongfully told the lady there that I had played yesterday, but I'd forgotten to get my pins. She grilled us for a bit, but eventually she gave them to us. Alright, so let me explain myself. I don't condone or excuse lying to get free stuff, but listen, I tried so hard to get in and play those games. If there was anything more I could have done, I would have. I would have gladly paid for the pins, but they didn't sell them. The only way to get them was by playing the games, which I would have loved to do if I was able to. And you know they're gonna have tons of these pins left over anyway. It'd be different if I took them and sold them on eBay, but I'm not going to. I just wanted to put them on my back. Alright, whatever, I'm a criminal now. Call the PAX police.